in our past and our history. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so y'all think on that one and we're going to keep it pushing. Inshallah. At this point, we would like to bring forth our good Sister Coral Qadar. Sister Coral Qadar has been a member of our community since the age of 13, joining with her 15-year-old brother when hearing that Wallace Muhammad renounced the idea of man being God after reading the Quran. She has been married for 33 years to Abdullah Latif Qadar and is the mother of 7 children. She is a writer, author of For Sakina, a Muslim woman's reflection on being a bride and a registered nurse. Sister Cora has been a supporter of the Mosque ministry of Imam W.D. Muhammad since its inception and continues to support Mosque as we celebrate a new beginning. Allahu Akbar. We'd like to bring forth Sister Cora Qadar.
I salute you all. I hope you give me a minute to secure my intellectual property. Just a second, I'm not so tech savvy, but my sons have helped me. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. I witness openly that nothing deserves to be worshipped except the one God, the one and only, and that Muhammad, who was an ordinary person like me and you, is the messenger of God. I am so honored to be in the presence of our pioneers. If I thought it would be conducive to progress, I would allow myself the tears that I feel in my heart being in your presence, but I know we wouldn't be able to get through the talk and no one else would be able to come up after me because you all would be consoling me. But I am shaking in my spirit to be in the presence of those of you who I can see present and those of you who are present, though I can't see you, who had the courage to give your support to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We could talk about this all day. I am grateful to be here as a guest of the Mosque. I salute the president of the Mosque, Brother Wallace Muhammad, and his wonderful wife, and all of you who are helping and supporting. I have to say to you that I support the Mosque, as the brother said, because it was started by Imam W.D. Muhammad to do service to humanity. It's not about anything else, really. That's what it's about. And some of you know I have somewhat of a reputation as being a troublemaker. I don't like being oppressed. Some of you know that. I don't like following people who like to bully people. I don't like people that take advantage of the human spirit because of the leadership of our Imam. And because I'm a human being, that's human nature. So I must tell you, if I didn't think that this organization was being led by a person of integrity, I would not be afraid to say it to you. You understand? I just don't fear speaking the truth. I have to tell you that this, I say young man, He doesn't look to the left. He don't look to the right. He's looking straight ahead, like his father. You understand? Maybe a genetic thing, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't have the capacity to look to the left or the right. But I know he's moving straight ahead. And some people say, oh, they have small crowds. These people, they don't know how our Imam prepared us. They don't know. You know, I was reading a book by a very famous African-American surgeon. I can't think of his name right now. He might be named Black. I don't know. If you find the book, it's a fantastic book. You don't realize how many great pioneers we have in medicine. And he was explaining that he is one of 5 surgeons in the world capable of doing some level of brain surgery. So, one of 5. I think the Cedars Mount Sinai in California, he designed that whole unit. They designed it for him. They said, well, whatever you want to do, because you have something, you have skill that we don't have. So if you went to a surgeon convention, you might be in a room of 1,000 or 10,000 people. But if you want to be among the top surgeons of neurosurgeons in the world, there's only going to be 5 people in the room. You understand? So I know who you are, and I'm honored to be among you. Those people who don't look to the left and don't look to the right and continue to support the ministry of Imam W.D. Mohammed, because his ministry is just starting. It's just getting started now. This new beginning, it has a great meaning, much greater than the limited things that we think of. The theme of New Africa, Imam in New York brought this to my attention. I think it was Imam John Nasheed. He said, well, you know, New Africa, he said, haven't they proven that all human life started in Africa? So when you talk about New Africa, are we not talking about a new beginning for the whole human family? And isn't it amazing that this new beginning has been deposited in this African American community that has suffered so much? And when this sister sung that anthem, I heard something. I hope you didn't mind that I was glaring at you, because I heard something more than the national anthem. I heard the victory that we have been restored to our rightful place. And Imam Mohammed was not afraid to tell us to claim our citizenship. That courage. This man, he said he risked his life to hold up that flag. Risked his life to demand that we accept our citizenship. And my husband calls it the last sermon, but the sermon that he gave before he died, or before he passed on, say not of my servants that they are dead, for they live though you perceive them not. But that last sermon, he was again demanding that we claim our citizenship. You do your sons who are being shot in these streets like animals a disservice when you deny them the citizenship that Frederick Douglass demanded that you get when you went to fight in the Civil War. You have a hand in these deaths in these cities if you do not accept your leaders' instructions and claim your citizenship. My father served in World War II. He served in General Patton's army, and then they shipped him back out to the South Pacific to serve another tour because he was a capable African-American soldier. Now, if I don't tell my son that you are a citizen of this country and you have an obligation to serve the country so that you can make demands, what am I doing to my own father's legacy? So let's go, we can go back to Crispus Attucks, the Revolutionary War. I want to say that this Savior's Day commemorates the freedom movement. And when people ask me who are not familiar with our community, what some of my co-workers, you're going to, I said, well, I'm going to a conference. You don't want to be too political. Going to a conference. well, what is this conference you're going to? I said, well, it's called Savior's Day. And my community, we want to commemorate the freedom movement. From the very beginning, we start with Frederick Douglass, and we don't leave out Lloyd Garrison and John Brown. And we bring it on because we believe that our leader, Imam Wallace D. Muhammad, culminated that movement in pointing to Muhammad the Prophet, who was the last brick in the building to start humanity off as one human family. When people ask me, what is Islam? I go to what Imam Muhammad described Islam as. He said it is one God, one creation, and one human family. We have to understand the language that Imam Muhammad gave us to teach this religion. Is people talk about Imam Muhammad's commentary, his tafsir. He was able to give the Quran in, I don't like to say English. He gave the Quran in modern mind. He was able to translate the Quran, pull it into modern mind. You understand? You are qualified in this room to teach the Quran, I believe, in my opinion, better than maybe 90% of the people who have been qualified in other places. Right. And I say that that's my estimate, but it may be more. I'm trying not to insult some of our great scholars and thinkers that have come from other orientations. But I want to tell you that the percentage may be higher than that. Some of you I traveled with to that Hajj when we had 500 people going to Mecca. And I had a little meltdown, I'll admit. It's not necessarily one of my proudest moments, but we were in a group, and we have been treated like little children by some of our group leaders. They were nice people. They just thought we were children, and they thought they wanted to help the little children. And you have to respect that. Anyone that wants to help children, you have to respect. But we had a meeting, and we said, you know what? We appreciate your holding our hands. But we have now selected a leader to hold our hands, and he's from our community, and we're going to put him up. And we made it very clear at that meeting. Immediately after that, they stood up, a gentleman stood up, and he had this long, Egyptian man, very nice man, stood up, and he began to lecture us on the fine points of how to do dawah in the United States. And he said, and I want you to know, you should not be afraid or ashamed to say you're Muslim. And when your family says, are you a Muslim? You should say, yes, I am Muslim, and I am so proud. I'm telling you, if I didn't feel Frederick Douglass sit up on my left side, I'm telling you, it wasn't even about just this community. I thought I saw Sojourner Truth coming up. And I said, wait a minute, they're telling us, do not be afraid. Do they know who they're talking to? I'm telling you, we had people in that room whose families had died to serve Salah Muhammad Speaks, brothers who have been spit on, brothers who lost their lives, women who gave their family efforts, all of their efforts, afraid to teach Islam. I said, you know, they're trying to flip the